Good evening, and welcome to a review session for 40 Days Ministries. We're looking back at January 5th, 2024. This was documented session number 126. Today is September the 1st, 2025, and we spent that day looking at news stories. The news stories we looked at were Russia was buying North Korean ballistic missiles, and a little education: ballistic missiles are launched under power, meaning that there is a powered launch, but the rest of the flight, it's not powered, meaning they're just thrown into the air with the rocket and they land on their own. Gravity just pulls them down. They are cheaper, obviously, and less accurate than cruise missiles, which have powered flight from launch to their destination. The ballistic missiles allow Russia to save home-produced stocks in case things get bad. So North Korea was selling ballistic missiles to Russia. This was, of course, 2024, right? There were explosions near mourners in Iran who were gathered for a leader that was assassinated 4 years ago by America. And there were explosions in Lebanon that killed the number 2 man in the Hamas group. And that has made those two nations very angry. So most likely we may see revenge on Israel. There was an earthquake in Japan on January 1st that caused big waves. Sexual violence was part of the Hamas plan when they invaded, and many women and girls have been assaulted before being murdered or being taken as hostages. Some of them have been paraded alive, and some have been paraded. Their bodies have been paraded after being assaulted. And we've seen videos of that back then. Russia has launched a barrage of missiles against Kyiv and Kharkiv. That's how I pronounce Kharkiv, the two major cities of Ukraine. Epstein's list was released on January 3rd, or some part of it at least. The man is a sex trafficker who allegedly killed himself in jail. Many people suspect he was killed to prevent him from revealing more of his clients. Oh, and this was the day I introduced you all to neutral pronouns, they, them. Those are legitimately being used by people today to show how depraved and reprobate the minds of men have become. On that day, Cooper's Corner number 104 was, if you find yourself blessed with wealth and possessions, consider yourself fortunate if you're able to enjoy them. For God has shown both grace and mercy, so you may enjoy all things in him. Now, as we look back at that date in 2024, folks, the relevance of the news might seem like it's not such a big deal. These are things that happen all the time, but no. To somebody who was hit by a missile in Ukraine, to somebody who was assaulted, or a relative of someone who was assaulted, to somebody who lost property due to the big waves that the earthquake caused, to someone who lost relatives or property because of the explosions in Iran. These would be a big deal. Let's never trivialize the suffering of people. God sent us into the world to preach the gospel to all creation. And in preaching the gospel to people, we must remember that the lost will reject the gospel of truth, that the elect can be deceived by the devil to refuse the gospel of truth for a time. So don't give up when sharing the word to people. Bear in mind too, Jesus said that we are supposed to be kind, and we're supposed to be generous towards people, anyone, because we recently read scripture where he said when he was hungry, we did not feed him. When he was naked, we did not clothe him. And he separated the sheep and the goats then. And the goats who got separated asked, when were you hungry and we didn't feed you? And Jesus said, when you do these things for the least, you're doing it for me. So please, folks, remember to be kind and remember to be generous. I am stopping here. That was number one, documented session number 126 on January 5th. We come back next time and we continue with Refiner's Fire number 1. This year, 2024, we were looking at the table of contents just before I recorded this, and there was a long series on the Bowls of Wrath. That was one of the first really deep dive looks into a topical study that we ever did. Compared to all the others, that was major, right? And these others were good too. So we will continue with our next recording of a review session on the Refiner's Fire. I'd like to thank anybody who's watching this video on Facebook and YouTube, and of course, thank you to the live audience for this. We will stop the recording and continue our meeting after.